The process of raising egg-laying chickens in a free-range system is far more than just collecting eggs each day. It begins with a careful chain of steps, from selecting the right breeds and caring for the hens, to collecting and incubating the eggs, and finally, witnessing the birth of healthy chicks. Once a sufficient number of high-quality eggs, those with clean, uncracked shells and the appropriate weight, are gathered, they are transferred into an incubator. These eggs are placed into trays precisely by an automatic machine, with the larger end facing up, allowing the embryo to develop properly. The eggs are arranged in neat rows, stretching across the incubator chamber, where temperature and humidity are tightly controlled. During the first 18 days, the eggs are turned regularly to ensure even development of the embryos. On the 18th day, they are moved to a hatching chamber, where they remain still, waiting for the moment of birth. Each egg begins to crack open, usually at the larger end where the air cell is located. After several hours, or sometimes more than a day, the chick pecks its way through the shell, slowly breaking free from its protective covering. From what once appeared to be a lifeless egg, after nearly 21 days in the incubator, a baby chick is born, healthy, clean, and ready to enter the world. From the moment they hatch, tiny and fragile chicks are placed into a brooder, a warm enclosed space that protects them from cold and harmful bacteria. As the chicks grow older, they are moved into the main poultry house, a larger, more spacious area designed for optimal living conditions. The chicken house is equipped with proper ventilation systems, sliding windows for natural sunlight, and heat-insulating roofs to regulate temperature, especially during hot days. The flooring is usually made of plastic-coated wire mesh or strong composite panels raised 40 to 60 centimeters off the ground. This design prevents direct contact with waste, keeping the chicken's feet dry and reducing the risk of disease. Beneath the floor, conveyor belts or trays collect droppings to keep the space clean. Inside the coop, automatic or semi-automatic feeders and water systems are lined up to ensure all chickens have equal access to nutrition. By the time the chickens are 4 to 6 weeks old, they are allowed to roam outdoors daily. Each morning, the doors open, and hundreds of chickens rush out to graze freely, pecking at grass, scratching the soil, hunting insects, or foraging for grains. This free-range system encourages movement, builds stronger immunity, reduces stress, and leads to tastier meat and higher quality eggs. To monitor flock size, automatic chicken counters are installed at the entrance, tracking how many birds go out and how many come back. An efficient way to manage a large flock without guesswork. In large-scale operations, chicken droppings accumulate rapidly. If not managed properly, waste can pollute the environment and harm the flock's health. That's why modern farms install automatic manure conveyor systems beneath the co-op floor. This keeps the co-op clean, reduces odor, and makes use of the waste in an eco-friendly way. Thanks to the sloped design of the nesting boxes with guiding grooves, eggs automatically roll out of the nest and gently move onto a long conveyor belt running along the row of chicken coops. And then they are transferred to the quality inspection area. Here, a candling system shines light through each egg to detect defects. Only eggs that meet quality standards continue to the next stage, while defective ones are removed to avoid compromising the entire batch. There, an automatic egg-picking machine operates continuously, delicately lifting each egg from the belt and placing it into standard egg trays, minimizing impact and preventing cracks or breakage. Depending on the intended use, the inspected eggs may be graded and packaged for market distribution or sent to the automatic egg-breaking section. In this area, machines precisely and cleanly crack the eggs, separating yolks and whites for use in industrial food production such as baked goods, noodles, or sauces. The entire process is enclosed, fast, and designed to maintain the highest standards of food hygiene and safety. Oyster farming is a common form of coastal aquaculture that utilizes natural water sources and incurs minimal feed costs. With high adaptability and significant economic value, oysters are now farmed in many tidal flats and brackish bays. Today, various farming methods are employed depending on terrain and technical conditions, among which suspended farming on floating lines at sea and stake farming in intertidal zones are the most common. Each method has its own characteristics, suited to specific farming environments. One practical and large-scale method of oyster farming is bottom seeding, where oyster seed is directly spread over the seafloor. The process begins by broadcasting juvenile oysters, spat, onto designated underwater plots. Farmers may use shovels, buckets, or mechanized seed spreaders mounted on boats to evenly distribute the seed across the seabed. In more modern setups, specialized machines are used to scatter the seed and press it gently into the seafloor, ensuring better attachment and reducing losses due to water currents. During the grow-out period, it needs to monitor growth, survival rates, and environmental conditions. When the oysters reach market size, usually after several months to over a year, farmers begin the harvesting process using cage dragging. A boat equipped with a winch system pulls heavy metal cages or dredges across the seabed to collect the oysters. These cages are then hauled up to the boat, where workers sort and load the oysters into large plastic or metal bins, often referred to as oyster tubs or baskets. The harvesting is usually done in stages, covering different sections of the farming area, and may involve several rounds to ensure all mature oysters are collected. This bottom culture method is known for producing oysters with strong shells and deep cups, making them especially appealing in the commercial seafood market. Another widely used method in oyster farming is suspended or longline culture, which involves raising oysters in the water column using ropes. This technique is typically seen in calm bays or sheltered coastal waters, where entire rows of floating lines can be seen stretching across the surface. The process often begins in a hatchery, where oyster larvae, spat, are bred under controlled conditions. In this facility, the larvae are raised in tanks with carefully maintained water quality, temperature, and salinity. Nutrients and algae are added regularly to feed the young oysters during their early growth stages. Farmers frequently check and monitor the larvae's development until they are large enough to be transferred. Once the spat reaches the right size, they are attached to ropes, shells, or plastic collectors, which are then suspended from horizontal lines strung between floating buoys. These ropes are lowered into the water, where the oysters continue to grow, feeding naturally by filtering plankton from the surrounding water. When harvest time comes, the ropes are hauled up using winches or manually, and the oysters are removed from the lines and sorted. The harvested oysters are then packed into bins or baskets, ready for transport and sale. This method allows for high-quality, clean oysters with good shell shape and easy maintenance, making it ideal for both small-scale and commercial operations. Once harvested, oysters are transported to a processing facility for cleaning, shucking, and packaging. Upon arrival, They are often cooled with ice to preserve freshness during transport and handling. At the factory, the oysters are thoroughly washed using high-pressure water systems to remove mud, debris, and surface contaminants. After washing, the oysters go through several processing stages. This may include grading by size, checking for quality, and removing damaged or dead shells. In some facilities, oysters are briefly steamed or blanched to loosen the shells and make shucking easier. Next, the oysters are shucked, which means removing the meat from the shell. This step is typically done by skilled workers or semi-automated machinery, depending on the factory's scale. Once separated, the oyster meat is sorted again and moved to the canning or packaging line. Here, oysters may be placed in cans, vacuum-sealed bags, or containers with brine or oil, depending on the product type. They are then sealed, labeled, and stored under cold conditions or sent for sterilization, ready for distribution to markets and consumers. Look, those strong teeth are being shredded by the pliers. It sounds strange, but that's what adult pufferfish are forced to go through. So why do they always have to cut the teeth of the pufferfish? Why is such a small, cute, and funny fish a dish that makes others wary? All the secrets about this strange and contradictory fish will be revealed right in the video. Young pufferfish are usually raised in a controlled environment before being released into the ocean to develop naturally. Raising young pufferfish indoors ensures that they have good living conditions, are well fed, and grow healthily. In addition, during this period, the fish will be carefully cared for so that they can adapt to the marine environment when released. After reaching the appropriate size and health, the baby pufferfish will be released to the sea, where they can live freely, hunt, and grind their teeth naturally, developing according to their wild instincts. In addition, raising them indoors also helps control the water environment, temperature, and other factors, ensuring that the fish are not infected or stressed. Pufferfish are provided with a nutritious diet such as snails, shrimp, and bloodworms, helping them to grind their teeth naturally and develop their bodies. In captivity, if there is no suitable food to grind the teeth, the breeder must periodically trim the pufferfish's teeth, helping them to eat normally and maintain their health. Every day, workers at the pufferfish farm feed the fish at regular times. They carefully check the amount of food, choosing the right type for each stage of the fish's development. From live food, such as shrimp and small snails, to frozen food or pellets. They don't just feed them. They also observe their behavior, checking to see if they are eating well and if they show signs of fatigue or illness. Adult pufferfish can eat specialized dry pellets, but they generally prefer live food. Protein-rich pellets can supplement the diet, but should not completely replace natural foods such as shrimp, crab, and snails. Once pufferfish are of sufficient weight, they are carefully transported to large restaurants. Pufferfish are usually transported in water tanks with filtration and oxygen systems to sustain life during the long journey. Because pufferfish are sensitive to the environment, the transportation process must be done quickly and carefully, avoiding stress or injury to the fish. This dish is known to be dangerous because pufferfish can contain deadly toxins if not prepared properly. Therefore, only chefs with special certificates are allowed to prepare pufferfish, ensuring the safety of diners. Have you ever heard of a cow that lives at an altitude of over 4,000 meters, can withstand cold temperatures below -40 degrees Celsius, and breathes easily in the thin air of the Himalayas. That is the yak, a survival machine in the harsh, natural environment, an animal that has been associated with the nomadic life of Tibet for thousands of years. Not only is it special in its extraordinary adaptability, the yak is also a comprehensive source of life. From milk, meat, to fur, skin, and even dung for burning. But what makes this animal become a legend in the land it inhabits? Nestled among the majestic mountains of Tibet and the Himalayas, the yak stands as a living symbol of the wild and harsh nature. With its thick fur like an eternal winter cloak, powerful curved horns, and massive stature, the yak is not only a strange creature, but also a testament to the extraordinary ability to survive on the roof of the world. For thousands of years, this special cow has been closely associated with the lives of the people in the highlands, providing food, materials, and cultural beliefs. Yak is not just an animal, but a living legend in the vastness of nature. Deep black eyes hidden behind thick fur exude a calm but alert look. With a large, stocky body and sturdy hooves, the yak embodies the strength, endurance, and mysterious beauty of the wild, snowy land. People often graze them naturally in a nomadic way, letting yaks forage for grass, moss, and wild plants. They are very strong, cold-resistant, and disease-free. In winter, farmers often store hay to supplement. Yaks live in herds, need large spaces and clean water sources. Regular health monitoring helps ensure the stable and sustainable development of the yak herd. Males begin to compete, displaying strength to attract females by roaring, rubbing horns, and fighting. Yaks usually enter their breeding season in the summer, from July to September, when the climate is more temperate. After mating, female yaks are pregnant for about 8 months and usually give birth to only 1 calf per litter in the spring of the following year, when the grass begins to grow again, making it easier to raise the calf. Milking a yak is a daily task, usually in the early morning and late afternoon, when the cow has partially lactated and her udders are softer. The herder milks the cow directly by hand, while gently holding the calf close to stimulate the mother yak to produce milk. Yak milk is not as abundant as that of a regular dairy cow, but it is very nutritious, fatty, and fragrant. The process of making cheese from yak milk in the highlands is often done entirely by hand, with rudimentary tools associated with nomadic life and harsh climates. After milking, the milk is gently warmed in a large pot. Then natural yeast from young animal stomachs or sour water is added to stimulate coagulation. The mixture is stirred and left to stand for several hours until it forms a curd. Once the milk has curdled, the worker will use a bamboo or wooden knife to cut the curd into small pieces to separate the serum, or milk water. The mixture is then poured into a thick cloth bag or bamboo basket and left to drain for many hours, sometimes up to a day, to squeeze out all the water. In addition to milk for cheese, yaks are also used as draft animals, transporting goods through steep and dangerous mountain passes thanks to their strong health and sturdy legs. They help people in the highlands move and live conveniently in harsh terrain and climate conditions. During the cold winter, yaks are often kept indoors or in closed barns to avoid cold winds and keep them warm, helping them maintain their health and milk production in harsh conditions. Thanks to their thick and long fur, Highland people use yak hair to weave clothes, blankets, and traditional handicrafts, keeping them warm and durable in the cold climate. Do you find the yak, with its extraordinary strength and important role in Highland life, interesting and special?